Hey everyone, Follow Me here, showcasing my latest settlement build project. This was done on survival mode with no mods or Creation Club add-ons. I released a community poll asking our subscribers what kind of content you all like to see for the next little while, and a whole lot of you voted for more settlement builds and tutorials, so here you have it folks. I recently came back to settlement builds after a 7-year break, so I appreciate you guys taking an interest in them. This survival character PC game file is on my members only community tab for download if you guys want to support the channel and explore all my builds firsthand. Sadly, PC game files are not compatible with consoles. The whole project took me several weeks to complete. There was a lot of time spent on trial and error, trying different items, committing a few hours on ideas and scrapping them, then moving on to something else until it feels right. It does get tedious at times when you build with no mods in survival, having to stop to sleep, eat, drink, and treat diseases. I find the best approach tackling these builds is not binging a significant amount of time fixated on one problem, but moving on to the next thing and later coming back to it with a fresh perspective. Kinda like taking a test. You can't answer that one question right now, so you move on and come back to it later. I've been revisiting my old survival builds from several years ago and finding ways to improve them. This was inspired by my scrappy Wastelander Bolt build I released 7 years ago in this channel, and sadly it didn't get a lot of traction back then. I will be breaking that video down in a tutorial as well in the near future. For this boat, I wanted to try working with more solid metallic structures, and I couldn't find any metallic items with the right amount of curvature for the boat hull, so I opted to use concrete floor pieces. I started off by setting up the main floor foundation and building smaller floor platforms under it. Later on, I realized it's faster to start from the bottom to the top. And in the middle of this, my freaking provisioner just stopped working for some reason. I found him just sitting here chilling. Back to work you go. Anyways, when a center floor piece is completely surrounded, it allows you to align the subsequent top pieces manually without it automatically snapping into places you don't want them to. I also set up some quick railings from the concrete section. Later on, I changed them just because they look kinda plain. Once we have the hull completed, we can start working on the ship's interior. I tried the wooden red barn pieces at first, since they have the glass wall pieces that could fit in nicely, but it didn't look quite right to me. So I opted to use the concrete walls that fit better with the look. My objective was to get the main foundation set before moving the boat to the water. The water is pretty murky and has a current that moves things around, and it makes it very inconvenient and annoying to build, so I tried to do as much as I can while in land. I did have to touch up some details later on when I replaced the concrete railings with the concrete rods. For the interior computer panels, I used the rock glitch to get them closely in position so that there are no gaps in between. I gather up some non-workshop items scattered around the island, like the pylon, this blue plastic container, some barrels, and a basket. These items can't be moved in workshop mode, so I had to manually move them around. They're also very finicky and don't interact well with the standard items. I put up a sleeping bag on top of this desk as a makeshift bed, then moved them using an ashtray to set them in place. Then use more rock glitches to set up additional things around. Once I felt I had the basic foundation finished, I moved the boat using a concrete column into the water. I set up conduits on the sides to hold tires, just as you see them in actual boats. Although the scrappy tires we find around the Commonwealth do have a gap in the middle, sadly nothing can go through it. So I had to use life preservers instead. I had to set them up well above water, otherwise the water current will take them away. Mind you, at this point I thought I was done already, so I started decorating with junk items, setting each of them manually. After sleeping on it, I decided to use conduit rods for the railings instead, just because using the rusty railings looked too simple and lacked variation. I set up the first one with a concrete column as perfectly straight as possible, then encasing the entire boat with it. I also used power speakers and connected them to encase the boat with wire, since wire can pass on as rope. Then I used these green arrows from Nuka World items to complement the railings. I then decided to intertwine more rope in between the gaps of the rail guards, so I put in white conduits and glitched the wires. Since this is kind of like a fishing boat, I wanted to come up with a makeshift fish trap of sorts. I used wooden lobster traps and attached conduits to this pitching machine. Once they're set up, I used the concrete column to glitch the conduits under the soil and add the lobster traps on the wires. Lastly, I set up a power generator under the boat hull to give it the appearance of a boat engine. I glitched the wires to the main boat panel to power up the entire boat. I did tweak several things off camera, like the curvature of the front of the boat and fixing the conduit railings. I had to temporarily disable survival mode to access console commands and remove water to get these shots. There's nothing inherently hard about this build. It just requires a hell of a lot of patience and basic understanding of settlement build glitches. Needless to say, I'm happy with the results. I'd love to hear what you guys think of this build. Let me know in the comments. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. Thanks for watching. I'll see you all on the next one.